And in saying this, I come to my final question. And that's an important one, because that is the question, what do we need to do now to ensure that the NATO of 2020 I described will come about? I'll give you a few pointers. First, I think we need to further expand. We have done that, and I've tried to do it over the past 5 years. We need to further expand NATO's role as a forum for political debate. And this means that we must be ready and we must be willing to discuss critical subjects such as nuclear proliferation, energy security, or the security implications of climate change early and openly. NATO should be a forum for political debate. And even if current operations will continue to occupy most of our time, it is no longer appropriate, in my view, to look at NATO merely as an instrument for force generation. This organization must give us more, and I think NATO can give us more. I'm still in the here and now. Second question, or second point. We need to succeed in Afghanistan. I do not belong, and I've never belonged to those who argue that NATO's survival is at stake in Afghanistan. It is not. But Afghanistan will nevertheless have an impact on NATO's future. In particular, it will have an impact on how NATO is perceived by the rest of the world. Thus far, we have demonstrated that we do not flinch even when the going gets rough or tough. And the going gets rough and the going gets tough, as we all know from time to time. But I think we've shown that NATO is able to learn and to adapt to changing realities on the ground. The innovative concept of the provincial reconstruction teams, the effective integration of non-NATO partners in ISAF, the International Security Assistance Force, the training of the Afghan National Army, all this demonstrates that NATO is capable of delivering. We need to reinforce this success. Hearing me, I think you'll conclude that I am not of the gloom and doom brigade as far as Afghanistan is concerned. I'm not of the gloom and doom brigade. I think the challenges are huge. But if I look at Afghanistan in 2001, when the Taliban was chased out of the country, and I look at Afghanistan now, we have made a lot of progress. But I always add, and the chairman of the military committee, you already heard, Admiral Gianpaolo Di Paola, will echo, the challenges are from time to time quite formidable. But no gloom and no doom. We might pick this up in the discussion. But we need to reinforce this progress by enhancing our military and civilian efforts in Afghanistan and by enhancing our relation with Afghanistan's neighbors, notably Pakistan, but also other neighbors. And you've without any doubt followed the huge conference, the Big Tent conference in The Hague 2 days ago, which exactly was trying to spread that message, to get that message across. And NATO is very much part of that equation. And NATO must also work closer together with its partners. This is, by the way, what I'm saying, very much in line with the results of the review President Obama has made in Washington, in the United States, and which saw the light at the end of last week. A second point for the here and now, or a third point, I should say, we need to get our relationship with Russia back on track. I know there are friends from Russia in the audience. That's good, because Russia bears a special weight and a special importance in European security and beyond. And that means, put simply, that if NATO and Russia agree, and we do on countering terrorism, for example, or on working closer together in and for Afghanistan, many things may become easier to achieve. If we disagree, and we do disagree, I can tell you, on a number of subjects, and disagree fundamentally from time to time. But if we disagree, in the end, we both stand to lose. Even in 2020, Russia and NATO may still have differences over certain issues. It is, from time to time, a stormy relationship. But it should be a relationship between adults. And like your generation, also adults, and you are adults, you fight from time to time. Russia and NATO fight with arguments, not militarily from time to time. It will be a stormy relationship because interests do not always converge. But my bottom line is that Russia needs NATO and NATO needs Russia. And that is the reason that I'm saying we need to get our relationship with Russia back on track. But I say again, like in 2009, in 2020, we might still have differences over issues. So it's the time now to act upon this and to unlock the full potential of the NATO-Russia relationship, which was at a low ebb in August last year after the Georgia crisis. You know that in the meantime, NATO foreign ministers have decided to re-engage, and I hope that this process of re-engagement will be a success. It's not always easy, because the rhetoric I hear from Moscow from time to time is not, let me put it mildly, always helpful in this regard.